It is Monday, March 24th. Welcome back to Damon Bruce Plus. We're brought to you by Aiyuk Sandwiches, one of the great sandwiches in the world. I mean, so many great sandwiches. You just can't go wrong whenever you walk into an Aiyuk's or have it delivered to you. Thank you for being back here. Hit like and subscribe. Again, the subs are going up. We're approaching 30,000 and should be there by the end of the week. So thank you very much for responding in kind to all the likes and subscribe asks that you get here. I appreciate you very, very much coming out to support the channel. I really do. Now, when it comes to appreciating where we are in the sports calendar, this is one of the best moments of the entire year. Not only is the NCAA tournament in full bloom, men's and women's brackets for everybody to enjoy, we've got ourselves a level of baseball around the corner, basketball circling its regular season drain, about to get us to a playoffs, which is phenomenal. Love basketball in March. We got a Masters around the corner. Opening day is this week. We got an NFL draft coming up. I mean, this is just such a fun time of year. It really, really is. But it's a time for a little perspective, too, because I know you're deep into mock draft season. And as I was talking about with Larry this morning on Wake Up, it is the portion of mock draft season where you get your electric Kool-Aid acid tests. All right, what if this team decided to trade this player and trade back 16 times in the first round? And, you know, like it is the, all right, we've talked about it straight up. Now let's bring in all the wild cards and everything that can make this conversation that we have to have for over a month more interesting, freshen it up, and just like I'm over it. I love mock draft season and I hate mock draft season. And, you know, the people who provide the analysis over players that got to come, got to go, remember everything that your favorite or maybe least favorite content creator had to say about Trey Lance. And that's the thumbnail today. And that's where this show starts today, because the NFL really does stand for not for long, just like Jerry Glanville said all those years ago. If you are in the wrong situation, finding your way out of it can be a really tough thing to do. The same people who are telling you that the 49ers should not be doing business with Brock Purdy at an elite price point are almost the exact same people to the person that told you that Trey Lance was going to be 1,000,000 times better than Brock Purdy, that Trey Lance was going to be the future of all of football, that Trey Lance was going to solve all of your problems, and the Niners now have a prototypical, the new prototype. I mean, forget about the Lightning McQueen. They've got Jackson Storm. Sorry, been watching a lot of Cars 3 in the house lately. But it was so sold as this guy's going to be the future of the 49ers, and he might not even have a future in the NFL. So the Cowboys a few weeks ago, because it was coming in like north of $22 million, declined his fifth-year option, obviously. And you're going to decline a fifth-year option on guys who aren't even your backup quarterbacks, and Trey Lance never even really became that. Now, he got to play a little bit, but he never really usurped Cooper Rush as the backup to Dak Prescott. He isn't considered now, as he sits as an available free agent. He isn't considered a starting level quarterback. He isn't considered a backup level talent. He is still, at this point in his career, a project. And you know what you don't want to be? An NFL project right before hundreds of new projects have the potential to be selected in the upcoming NFL draft. If you remain a project this long into your career, whether it's your fault or not, you're in a lot of trouble. And that's where Trey Lance is professionally. He is in an awful lot of trouble. He does not have a defined position or role carved out for him in this league. Joe Flacco, at his, uses a cane, maybe even a walker, playing bingo stage of his athletic career. Joe Flacco's phone is going to ring 100 times before Trey Lance's phone rings once. When you look at some of the quarterbacks out there who might not be rostered this year, the amount of, I would definitely take that guy over Trey Lance out there has to be very concerning to Trey Lance and his representatives. And this is now a situation where I mean, honestly, he needs to seriously think about going to the CFL or playing arena. If he wants to continue being a professional quarterback, I don't think there's any room for him in the NFL anymore. What team, again, is going to add a project that remains undefined 4 years into a career? It's a rough place to be. What role could Trey Lance possibly fill for any football team in this league? Does your coach want a project who very likely never hits the field? The answer is probably no. Why would you want that? The one place that maybe would still be a little interested, can we get anything out of this guy or not, would have been maybe the 49ers, but they're not going to do that to Brock Purdy. They're not going to put Trey Lance behind Brock Purdy after Brock has already beaten him out. It's just not going to happen. I really don't know what the future holds for Trey Lance, but it ain't good. And it probably ain't a future in the NFL. And remember, you could almost have a perfect circle of a Venn diagram from the people who told you Brock sucks and Trey Lance is going to be the man. That's like a perfect circle. That Venn diagram. It's not one of these. And in the middle there's your, no, it's almost a perfect circle. So the amount of misunderstanding, it was like a true run in real time Rorschach test. When you look at these guys, what do you see? Except unlike a Rorschach test, there are wrong answers. If you look at Brock Purdy and everything he's done right now and still see, I don't think he's the right guy, but you were 100% on team Trey Lance, we probably shouldn't go to you for quarterback directions any longer. Because one was obviously better than the other, and the other is so obviously still not ready to be even a pro in this league. He probably won't be in this league. It's rough out there on those NFL streets, kids. It is rough. Joe Schmo. And, here's the thing. You're right. Like Wiseman, they were just trying to gamble on a player. Thought you could land someone who is going to redefine who you are and how you play. And unfortunately, all you did was get set back tremendously by that pick. Worst pick in 49ers history, Mr. Rondo. Look, AJ Jenkins, to me, was just as bad, but you didn't trade 3 first-round picks for AJ Jenkins, which means, yes, Trey Lance, based on value out, value added, there is a terrible claim to fame for Trey Lance that he might be the single worst draft pick in the history of the 49ers based on the price of it. Not the results of the one individual pick, but the price of it. It's awful. It is part of the reason why the 49ers are having a very cost-conscious offseason right now, because there are multiple first-rounders who they didn't even get a chance to blow whether or not that was going to be the right guy to pick at the time, because they didn't even have the pick. It was gone. So, yeah, that one hurts. And poor Trey Lance, man. I mean, look, he got a lot of upfront money very early in his life. I hope he can invest it wisely. I hope it leads to good opportunities for him. But, success can sometimes be as suffocating as failure. If he's wired the right way, he's got a shot. He does. He's still young enough to have a shot to maybe make it back, but I really do think that his path back to being an NFL player leads him out of the NFL before it leads him back. Freaking rough out there, man. It is rough out there. Damon, Jim Druckenmiller. Druckenmiller was bad, but you didn't invest 3 picks in Jim Druckenmiller, right? That was bad. But the price for Jim Druckenmiller was just the pick that you had, not others. So that's what makes Trey even worse. Had a really good show with Larry this morning. I mean, I thought we were all over the draft and what kind of needs to happen, strategy, what it looks like. Again, anybody who wants to sell you as the end-all be-all of they know everything about this upcoming draft is just lying to you. No one really knows anything. All you can do is make the best educated guess possible. As I look at what the 49ers do at 11, just assuming they're picking at 11, I've got two names that I have. One of them I've had for over a month now. The other is come into focus. Neither of these names are going to be new to you. You know them by now. Armand Membu or Will Campbell. To me, one of them has to be the 49ers pick at 11. If one guy's already gone and the other's there, well, the universe has made your pick for you. If they are somehow both sitting there at 11, I would choose Armand Membu out of Missouri before Will Campbell out of LSU. If both of them are gone, you wanted to look internal defensive line. To me, Kenneth Grant, the defensive lineman out of Michigan, is you can pick him and not worry about him player in this draft. Like, that guy's going to be an NFL player. He's going to get a second contract. Jim Harbaugh's liked him since he met him when he was 17 years old. That's got to be a good sign. Everything about his tape speaks to this is a real player. This is a real player. Kenneth Grant is the kind of guy that you can select and then just not worry about. He might not have as high of a ceiling as everyone else, but I think he's got one of the best floors in this draft. Meaning, could it be a disaster? The could it be a disaster factor is in play for everybody. There's no guarantee of NFL success until you're playing NFL football. But Kenneth Grant is pretty close to being about as sure a bet as you could make at 11 if you're the 49ers. If you wanted to shake the bones and roll the dice, looking to hit a hard 8, something that's going to pay a little bit more. You're gambling a little bit more, and you're willing to risk it for the possible biscuit that this player could be. James Pierce Jr., the defensive end out of Tennessee, is a freaking monster. He might be the singularly most talented raw athlete in this draft. He is built to be a nightmare. He was a pressure nightmare at Tennessee, where he was pressuring a quarterback nearly 1 out of every 4 snaps, 17 and a half sacks in the, thickest stacked future NFL talent is everywhere on every team conference that you can find in the SEC. Well, Big Ten, no slouch, I hear you. But I really, really have fallen in love with James Pierce. There is a little gamble there in terms of personality, off-field, blah, blah, blahs. But if you really wanted to roll the dice at 11 to get yourself a defensive game wrecker, James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee probably has a better chance to be a game wrecker than any defensive tackle, because it's just what you do. It's what happens when you're an edge rusher. But Kenneth Grant is the don't worry about it. James Pierce Jr. is the you might really get a stud here, but you might need to worry about it. Armand Membu is the easiest name to run up to the podium, I think, in the draft with at 11. If you're the 49ers, that is the player. That is the guy, as far as I'm concerned. What do you know, Damon? Not much. But that's the guy I like, and I certainly like, it doesn't take any, draft Nick tendencies to like Will Campbell or now Membu, that he has run that 40. Again, I was on Armand Membu before the combine, and then after the combine, everybody was on Armand Membu. So good chance he's not even there. But if he is, I think that's the pick. You want to make a good pick when you're out at lunch today? How about with the first overall sandwich selection at Ike's, you take home the Damon Bruce. You get a steak sandwich. You get beer battered onion rings on that bad boy. You want a little cheese? I go provolone. Nice neutral cheese there for you. Little steak sauce on there. I'm not afraid of a little A1. You want tomatoes on your sandwich? Go ahead, put tomatoes on your sandwich. I don't like a wet sandwich. I usually leave tomatoes off my sandwich, but I do like a little red onion added to that lettuce. Give me some extra Godfather sauce and put it on a soft roll. I know Dutch Crunch is a big thing at Ike's. I'm more of a soft roll guy. Don't like to cut the roof of my mouth when I eat. Very delicate palate over here. Get yourself to Ike's Sandwiches. You'll be very, very happy that you did. If you're ordering Ike's for your office, check out Ike's Catering. You will be hailed as a hero. A little something for everyone. I don't like the word vegan, but some others do, and he's got the best vegan, this'll fool you. It's not really meat options you're going to find probably in anybody's sandwich shop, certainly any national chain. So check out Ike's. You'll be very happy that you did. And again, forget all the vegan nonsense. Just get yourself a meat sandwich. Also, the Dubliner and West portal. I freaking love these guys. My man Kenny, John, great guys. I don't know where you're going to watch Warriors Heat. I don't know where you're going Thursday afternoon for a little, hey, it's opening day. Logan Webb's got the ball in Cincinnati. Let's go watch a little baseball for the first time this year. Whether you got tournament games, your bracket's still alive, get yourself to the Dubliner West portal. You'll be very happy that you did, and you can order that Ike sandwich to be delivered right to you at the Dubliner. You can walk across the street to Little Original Joe's and bring a pizza in. You want to be real popular in a bar? Walk in with a pizza and a few slices to give away. You'll make friends instantly. It's amazing how many people will say no to a free slice of pizza. Like, people are suspicious. What do you mean, a free slice of pizza? No thanks. I will lean right in to a free slice of pizza. I'm speaking my language. So thank you very, very much to my sponsors. Thank you very much to my regulars. Thank you to my members. Joe Sullivan, a member who keeps the ganja jar to the brim. Says, great wake up this morning. Thank you, Joe. Really appreciate it. We had a lot of fun this morning. Again, you can check that out. It is just waiting for you on YouTube anytime you need it. And I'll tell you, we've had really, really some unbelievable growth and traction over the weekend. Here we are. I'll just give you some of the numbers because I know you're rooting for me, like hearing these things. We are getting closer to 30,000 subscribers. This, a non-NFL month, is the first time we have ever had over 1 million views in any non-NFL month in a 28-day window. Watch time hours are up, subscribers are up, and we're having, hands down, we've only had 2 of them, but the best March we have ever had. The best March we have ever had is happening right now. So thank you very, very much to the members, to the loyal regulars. Oy, oy, oy! I see you, Postman in Capitola. And to anyone who's in here right now, brand new, never watched before, thank you. Hit like and subscribe, hit notify. You'll know when we go live. You'll know when the new videos go up. And I thank you so very, very much for supporting what I'm doing over here. Again, very quiet weekend in the NFL. The NCAA tournament, rightfully so, sucks so much oxygen out of the room. Love it when that happens. I'll say this, though. Look, first of all, I love the tournament. It is America's most perfect sporting event. Never mess with it. Never change it, please. I love the tournament so much. I feel like it's like I'm related to the tournament. Therefore, I can talk shit about it. Tournament newbies don't have anything bad to say about anything. But I've seen enough tournaments in my life where the waves of March Madness crashed onto the beach over and over and over again. And that was a great finish. And that was an unbelievable upset. And that was a memorable game. And all this, I'm going to tell you right now, until we got UConn and Florida on Sunday morning, there wasn't a single signature moment in this tournament that wasn't the kid walking around with the big radio from the college that nobody cares about. Again, it was until that UConn Florida game. You know who's got the hardest job in America? Who's ever editing the One Shining Moment montage if they only had Tuesday, Friday, or Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to work with. I mean, this was a sleepy ass, only chalk talking NCAA tournament right up until we got a hell of a game out of Florida and UConn on Sunday morning. We got 7 SEC teams. The Big Ten has had a tremendous tournament so far. But I'll tell you right now, just based on this tournament, as we watch it, trying to use data points from this tournament and project forward, what are we looking at? We're looking at NIL is now throwing the party, and I don't know how often Cinderella is going to be asked to dance ever again. This is an NCAA tournament that has 7 SEC teams in the Sweet 16. That is a record for any one conference. And only 4 different conferences are represented here in the Sweet 16. Historically, there have never been fewer than 7 different conferences. If you ain't a big boy, you're not getting to the Sweet 16 anymore. Now, there's more than just NIL to speak for that. I mean, obviously, a team like St. Mary's didn't get it done. Team like Gonzaga didn't get it done. Not that they don't have NIL revenue that they spend on their teams and they take basketball very seriously. Xavier, one of those schools that bowed out a little earlier than a lot of people thought. What has happened here, along with NIL and the big boys being able to assemble better teams with more resources at their disposal, you've also got a few of those other fringe teams that have joined bigger conferences. Like, Houston is no longer a mid-major. Houston's in the Big 12. So that changes things. It's been kind of a blah NCAA tournament so far, and that's not just because I'm angry that North Carolina made it over Indiana or anything like that, although it's got a little to do with it. But it's just someone who's just trying to evaluate, what am I watching? What memories have been made? Not many so far in this NCAA tournament. Hopefully a quieter opening round gives us a Sweet 16 for the ages. There's a lot of good teams out there, so hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. Let's see. We got Warriors this week. One of my single favorite developments of this NBA season is that I no longer have to watch Andrew Wiggins not try very hard on a nightly basis. And what do you know? The Warriors will circle back to Andrew Wiggins just in time for my birthday viewing. Yes, it is Curry and the Warriors maybe Curry, right? He's at least rejoining the team in Miami. Don't know if he's going to play or not, but it looks like that tailbone, nothing structural. He's going to be playing basketball really soon, if not in Miami. Next game, maybe at the Pelicans. They got Pels, Spurs, Grizzlies, Lakers on this road trip. If they don't play Curry in Miami, well, that, number one, it casts Jimmy as the alpha dog in the game, which kind of makes that interesting. But you want Curry out there at all times, obviously. But if you don't play him in Miami, you got more time to rest him before you get to New Orleans. So it makes sense to not play him and exercise a little caution. But Curry is rejoining the team, which is good news. But it's going to be Warriors versus Wiggins for my freaking birthday tomorrow. Like, really? That's the universe just messing with you. That is just the universe absolutely messing with you. Messing with me, anyways. Wiggins just had a huge game. Is like highest scoring output of the year. So maybe he's sharpening the knives, getting them ready for the Warriors. Probably not. Probably not. $11 games left in the Warriors season. That's it. It's 11 games remaining in the regular season. They're 2 games back of Memphis for the 5 seed. Again, with a game against Memphis coming up on this road trip. They're a half game ahead of Minnesota. They're 1 game ahead of the Clippers. And I'll tell you, that group who is, the Warriors right now, they are out of that play-in tournament. They got 2 teams, the Timberwolves and the Clippers right on their heels. There's been no separation between those 3 teams. Those 3 teams are stepping all over the back of each other's toes and heels, and there's a reason for that. All of them, all of those teams are 8-2 in their last 10 games. So no one's lost any ground. No one's gained any ground. This has been fun NBA couple of weeks here that we have to wrap up with a lot of out-of-town scoreboard watching that you have to do each and every night. So it's a great time of the year. It really is. You got your NCAA tournament. Again, we're going to have the Masters starting soon. There's a whole bunch of shit out there that, people like that I don't even care about. Joe Schmo says, wait, French Open. I don't care. F1. I really don't care. Masters? Nah, I care about the Masters. Again, Chef A knows. Wiggins. Exactly. Freaking Wiggins. Wiggins and Fuego the last 2 games. Well, Irwin, he doesn't put 3 games in a row together. Not ever. Wiggins who? Exactly. Yeah, right? Oh, that's got to be exciting news for any chef. Found a master knife sharpener in San Mateo. Ooh. Got to have sharp knives, especially if you're a chef. Joe says, hey, Damon, do a call-in show where all we do is toast and take shots together. Oh, yeah, that'd be a really fun show for all of you. It would be a rough hangover for me. But I'm going to tell you right now, I've got some friends who are working on technology that allows phone calls to come in a way that hasn't really happened before on YouTube. And we might do some experimental shows together. And calling in is an option that you maybe have coming to you soon. Of course, we've done video chats in the past. I know we got people who, been wondering, when's the last time we've Club Ploused? It has been a while since we have Club Ploused. How about we open Club Plus tomorrow? Because it will be my birthday show. We'll get a Club Plus tomorrow. You've been asking for it. You want the disco lights. I got a whiskey bottle right there. I can get down on my birthday for a little Club Plus. So there you go. Write that down. Tomorrow, Club Plus going down. JJ Red, I thought they shut that place down. He's like, Damon, shut, not shit. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Oh, now people are excited. Chef A's excited. Joe's excited. If Otis is excited, everyone should be excited. Anyway, that's what we are going to do tomorrow, along with whatever the hell we talk about tomorrow. One of the things that Larry and I this morning talked about on Wake Up is Brandon Aiyuk could find himself traded out of San Francisco this week, next week, pre-draft. So there's, Damon, what do you go on Twitter and refresh your phone to find out? Well, I am every hour checking to see, did Brock Purdy get a deal done? Has Brandon Aiyuk been traded? Any other transactions out there? It's been a little sleepy around the NFL lately. But there's one more, I think, big thing that will happen in the 49ers offseason before we get to this draft. And Brandon Aiyuk being traded could be it. So something to keep an eye on. And again, like, subscribe, hit the notify button, and you won't miss a thing, my good friends. Let's see. What else we got? With opening day around the corner, with Thursday, for Logan Webb in Cincinnati. Logan Webb, by the way, will be the 7th Giants pitcher ever to make at least 4 straight opening day starts, but he's only the 4th pitcher to do it since World War II. Logan Webb joins a collection of Giants greats that include Juan Marichal, Madison Bumgarner, and Tim Lincecum. Each one of those guys got 4 consecutive opening day starts. So that is where Logan Webb is now historically in terms of front of the line pitchers for the Giants. And look, there's plenty of reasons to not be excited about the Giants going into this year. And there is one reason to be excited, and that is they're 19-6 in Cactus League play. None of that'll matter when Logan Webb throws that first pitch in Cincinnati. But if the Giants are to do anything this year, that resembles competitive, interesting baseball. An awful lot of their success is going to have to be based around vibes. Well, the vibes are right. Right? The vibes are right now for the Giants. Let's see how long that can happen. But Logan Webb entering some historically significant company territory in opening day starters. And I love opening day starter porn. Always have, always will. So we'll see. We'll see. You know, I'm going to be happy when baseball's back on my TV, on my radio. It always makes me happy. I don't love baseball quite like I used to, but we have yet to get divorced. And then I saw this note, and I thought this was interesting. It just shows you the business, the investment that the Dodgers have made, not only in being the best baseball team that they can be this year, but this is a butterfly that flaps its wings in America, and there is a tsunami in Japan. I mean, that's really what this is. The Dodgers, in many ways, have become Team Japan in Major League Baseball. We know that the deals they have struck, we know that the talent that they've unearthed, and the money that they've spent to do it. Well, why do you do it? You do it because it's going to make you a better baseball team, but this is some investment that, you know, a very few teams are willing to make. I really thought the Giants should have offered Shohei Ohtani the same contract that the Dodgers offered, except you get all this money now. There's no deferred nothing. Like money in your hand today has to be worth more than money in your hand tomorrow. So let's do that. I thought the Giants should have done that. They should have overextended to the point where it hurt. The Tokyo series started our Major League season. Cubs and Dodgers over in Tokyo. And the business that was done around the Tokyo series alone should have the Giants regretting the decision to not give all that money up front. $40 million in merch sales. 3-game series in Tokyo, $40 million in merchandise sales. Fanatics says it is the biggest special event in Fanatics history. They'd sold more merch. Fanatics couldn't even predicted what a perfect storm it was for doing business over in Tokyo. You had Ohtani's homecoming. You had the Dodgers star power. You had the fact that the Cubs are about as big of a team that you can find in this sport. Japan has a deep love of baseball. They had a limited designed collection that I guess sold like hotcakes for, triple the face value that they were asking for. Japan has a relationship with baseball that is over 100 years deep. They're dying for Major League anything over there, and the Dodgers are giving it to them in ways that they could have never even imagined. Shohei Ohtani is going to be one of that made money. That was a great investments in the history of sports, because it gives one Major League Baseball team basically all of Japan to do business in. You add in Yamamoto and Sasaki. It's an abundance of Japanese talent, and the abundance of business that this team is about to do overseas is going to be the envy of everybody. Shohei has already paid off. Already won a World Series with him. Again, it's nothing but gravy from here on out. It is going to be good for other clubs too. And I watch the Dodgers now annually play an opening series in Tokyo, or take their season to Tokyo somehow, some way going forward, because there is way too many diamonds in those mines to be walking out of them now. So that's going to happen. The Dodgers are now Tokyo's team, but that matters. It's not like, well, the Jaguars are London's NFL team. Well, no one gives a shit. Oh, they give a shit about the Dodgers over in Tokyo because they got the right players. And by the way, this will be good for other baseball teams, because I'm going to tell you right now, I grew up a diehard Cub fan, but just watching the game of baseball made me fall in love with Tony Gwynn. And that's going to happen. There is going to be I only care about Ohtani. I only care about the Dodger level baseball fan in Japan right now, probably an 8-9-year-old kid who just likes his player. But that 8-9-year-old kid is going to watch more Major League Baseball than ever before. And they are going to fall in love with someone else on another team because that's the way this sport has always worked. And baseball and Japan, I think, are about to be massive business partners. And it is this Dodgers team that has changed everything. When we go and do our Today in History a few years from now, we're going to be looking back on this Tokyo series as a watershed business moment for Major League Baseball. Yeah, this is how it works. Joe Schmo, my player other than Giants or A's was Griffey. Yeah, mine was Tony Gwynn. And honestly, Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry. By the way, our buddy Joe Sullivan, our super come in today, said that, Damon, what do you think the Niners could get in return for Brandon Aiyuk? Multiple late-round picks. Or there's a rumor out there that the Cleveland Browns put a fourth and a player, and the 49ers are holding out for a third-round pick. I would take that fourth and a player right now from Cleveland. We'll see. We'll see, but I do think that Brandon Aiyuk could get this team multiple picks either in this draft or spread across a couple of drafts. They won't be premium picks, but multiple picks for Aiyuk, fourth round or later, seems to be very doable. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if they did it. Yeah, Bo Jackson. Yeah, I mean, everyone fell in love with Bo Jackson. That was easy. Hey, we got Legends Pizza in here. Good. Thank you very much. We got Val B just saying, good show. Thank you, Val. Ichiro. Yeah, he was so easy to fall in love with, wasn't he? Yeah. I mean, Ricky, that's obvious. They're the only player who was not a Cub whose poster I had in my childhood room was Ricky Henderson. No regrets. None. All right. You ready for a little history today? We wrap up the show with a little history lesson. Again, we're going to ask you to come on back tomorrow. We will do a Club Plus to celebrate. I'm going to be a 50-year-old man tomorrow. 50. I only feel like I'm 73. So, yeah, unbelievable. And people want to know, what are you doing to celebrate your birthday? Nothing. My wife, what do you want for your birthday? I want it quiet. Just peace and quiet. That's all I'm looking for. You know, what are you going to do? Or should we do something together? Should we get people together? No. I did that for my 40th. 30, get to your 30th birthday. You can double that. Get to your 40th birthday. You certainly hope to be able to double that. Get to your 50th birthday. Doubling that, it doesn't even really sound good, to be honest with you. Do I want to be a 100-year-old man? Just knowing how I feel my last day of 49, for the sake of my kids, sure. But God, I'd be just a burden at that point. I don't know. You know, it's hard to double 50. That's why I'm not too excited about it. Either way, thank you for being here. Let's get a little history lesson. And then tomorrow we will hop into Club Plus. We'll drink together. We will have fun. Okay, here we go. Happy birthday, Peyton Manning. Turns 49 years old today. Happy birthday, Steve Ballmer. Our richest NBA owner just built the Inuit Dome, and the Clippers still kind of suck. And today, because he was born in 1874, obviously no longer with us, but Harry Houdini would have turned 151 years old today. Harry Houdini. There aren't a lot of people who are known for something in the 1870s who are still regarded as like the greatest to ever do it in 2025. The fact that we're still making Houdini references in 2025, that like David Copperfield has not replaced Houdini in the hierarchy of great magicians, is kind of amazing. Harry Houdini nailed it. Again, you also, a little good advice. It's better to burn out than fade away. Young Harry Houdini. is all anyone remembers because he didn't become old Harry Houdini. We also didn't see any of him. So, again, when in doubt between the truth and the myth, print the myth. Today, in 1944, more than 75 Allied prisoners escaped a German POW camp. It wasn't exactly a capture and kill camp. It was a POW camp, like actual prisoners of war. It wasn't part of the Holocaust. But it was the 75 Allied prisoners who broke out, who tunneled out, and many of them were recaptured. Many of them were sentenced to death upon recapturing. Many were recaptured. Why do I tell you all this? It was that incident that led to one of the greatest movies of all time, one of the all-time great guys movies, The Great Escape. If you've never seen The Great Escape, don't go to work tomorrow. Skip it. Watch The Great Escape. It's such a great movie. It's such a great movie. Steve McQueen at his very, very best. You got Donald Pleasance. You got the guy who was the Rockford Files. James Garner is in that movie. It is just A+ with a level of British character actors who are just phenomenal the whole way through. One of the best movies ever. One of the best movies ever. And Valen, one of the catchiest movie tunes ever. Dun 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 dun. Absolutely. Great movie. By the way, at the very end, when Steve McQueen is jumping all of those barbed wire fences, that was Steve McQueen. That wasn't a stunt double. Steve McQueen did all of his own bike riding stunts. So keep that in mind when you watch the movie. Today in 1945, we got our very first ever album to hit #1. Because we got our very first issue of Billboard magazine. Without Billboard magazine, we don't get the top song of that year. You know why no one ever references the top song of World War II? What was #1 the day that World War II started? Because there wasn't a ranking when World War II started. But in 1945, there was. Billboard magazine's pop album chart debuted in 1945, and Nat King Cole's Trio became the first record album to ever be #1. So there you go. In case you're asking, who's the first #1 artist ever, according to Billboard magazine? Well, that is whoever was #1 when the first issue of Billboard came out, and that was Nat King Cole. By the way, speaking of old historic things that happened in music, today in 1958, Elvis Presley, serial number 53310-761, was inducted into the United States Army. Elvis Presley walks away from one of the great careers in entertainment to go serve in the military, which is just something in real time to think of that happening in 2020. Can you imagine if, like, at his peak, Justin Bieber was asked to join the United States military? Like, oh my God. Like, I didn't think it could happen anymore. It's not like Elvis was in danger. Elvis went over there to be a human prop, but, he enlisted. He went in. Got to respect that. So Elvis Presley joined the Army today in 1958. On this day in 1989, the Exxon Valdez ran aground and 11 million gallons of crude oil poured into Prince William Sound in Alaska. It was the single greatest environmental disaster any oil tanker had ever caused on the shores of the United States. And I think it's been surpassed like 6 or 7 different times since. Anyway, cheers to oil spills Let's have fewer of them going forward. How about this? Depending how old you are, if you're right around my age, this was a show that was like, a little bit of a coming of age show, but it was actually you came of age at a very young age type of show. The final episode of Doogie Howser, MD, aired today in 1993. I don't think I stuck around for that final season of Doogie, but those first few years of Doogie Howser, oh, yeah, I liked them when I was a kid. Yeah. Doogie Howser. Speaking of popular TV shows, today in 2005, The Office premiered on NBC. In case you missed any of The Office, you can watch every single episode in sequential order almost every single day of the week on Comedy Central. Comedy Central now is just a place where they put The Office, Seinfeld, and old South Park episodes, which means it's actually on as my background noise an awful lot in the house. It really is. We've got the postman in Capitola. Damn, D. Bruce, I'm just reading the story of Dusty May, Michigan head coach, got to start as a student manager. And yeah, dude, Dusty May should have been hired ahead of Mike Woodson. But that didn't happen. And now Indiana, I don't know. I'm worried about Indiana basketball. All right, final thing to let you know about. Let's see. Our international what is it days? Today is cocktail day. So cheers to that. Today is also National Cheesesteak Day. Two things I enjoy very, very much. Cocktails and cheesesteaks. Go out and get one of them or both of them today. But enjoy and make good choices, because we all got to be back here for my birthday tomorrow. We will do a Club Plus. We will drink together. We will have some fun. And I hope you plan on being here. But in the meantime, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for going out and getting a sandwich at Ike's. Thank you for going to the Dubliner and West Portal. Thank you for all your likes, your subscribes, your notifications, and the fact that we are, again, in a 48-hour window where we've had almost 400,000 views. Things are really, really cracking this month here on the channel. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that. Making this old 50-year-old man feel better. They have taught this dog new tricks, this old dog. We're learning anyways. You're the best. Thank you very, very much. Please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he is gone.